been on the internet a long time at this point, and I have definitely learned over the years that you cannot always trust a viral recipe. However, I have been saving a bunch of really cute looking spring recipes on my TikTok, and I am just dying to try them out. So that's what we're gonna do today. The first recipe I want to test out is called a lemon posset. So it's a really cute dessert where you cut a lemon in half and you fill it with this like lemony cream, and it seems really refreshing and delicious. So I want to give this a try, and these have been popping up all over my Instagram and TikTok feeds recently. However, it turns out they have a very long history, and they were even referred to in two of Shakespeare's plays. They seem really simple to make, but they do have to chill in the fridge for a while. So I figured we could whip these up, put them in the fridge to chill, and then we can move on to testing out some of our other recipes. I started by removing all of the guts from my lemon rinds, making sure to keep all the lemon rinds in one piece. This is something that you could use a grapefruit knife or a melon baller for, but I don't have either of those, so I just stuck with a trusty old spoon. Once all of the lemon rinds were cleaned out, I set those aside, and then I cut up all of the inside bits into large chunks simply to make it a bit easier for juicing. Following the recipe, I added the heavy cream, sugar, and lemon zest to a pot over low heat and brought them all to a simmer while whisking regularly for about 4 minutes. After turning off the heat, I added the lemon juice and vanilla. Lastly, I strained the zest from the mixture and then divided it between my 4 lemon rinds and put them all in the fridge to chill for a few hours. Next recipe I want to try making is a Japanese strawberry shortcake. It looks absolutely adorable. I also just love strawberries, and it's just about strawberry season in New Jersey, and there's nothing better than a Jersey strawberry. I do have a few reservations with this recipe because I did see a few comments saying that they had trouble with this recipe. A few people did say that they had no trouble though. So I tried to make sure I got the exact ingredients. So it uses specifically cake flour. I got that. It also uses castor sugar, which in the US, or at least in my area, is not super readily available. Like, you really can't find it in most stores. I had trouble finding it in any stores locally, so I went ahead and ordered that online. So we have castor sugar, we've got cake flour. We're gonna try to follow it as much to a T as we possibly can and see how it turns out. This recipe is a little bit different than most American cakes, and it starts by beating egg whites and sugar together until medium peaks form. Next, I added in the egg yolks, salt, and vanilla until just combined. Next, I sifted in the cake flour and then I folded it into the batter. In order to incorporate the melted butter and milk, I added a small bit of the batter to both of them, whisked together, and then folded that into the rest of the mixture as well. To release some of the air bubbles, the recipe calls for tapping the cake pan against the counter a few times before baking in a 350-degree oven for 30 minutes. Okay, so while our shortcake is cooling, I thought we could try out one more recipe, and this one is for edible moss. I have been absolutely dying to try this one. I think it would be so cute to have this to like add to cakes and stuff like that. It would just be adorable. So I am really hoping it works out, but we're gonna give it a try and see. For this recipe, you start by whisking together an egg, corn syrup, and sugar. Next, you sift in flour and baking powder and whisk to combine before adding just a dash of gel food coloring. Finally, you add your mixture to a microwave-safe pan. I think you ideally want something smooth and flat-bottomed to get the right results from this. And once you spread it out, you can add to the microwave and microwave for about 2 minutes. The shortcake frosting is a simple, basic whipped cream, combining 500 grams of heavy whipping cream, 30 grams of sugar, and a quarter teaspoon of vanilla, and whipping until stiff peaks form. The original video showed a much thicker cake and they were able to split it into 3 layers. However, I did not feel comfortable splitting my cake into more than 2. It is time to see how this moss turned out. I let it fully cool. I don't have any gloves to use to take it out. I think that in the video she had gloves, so I just grabbed a fork just to not get the food coloring on my hands. It's like, honestly looks like Nickelodeon slime. It's so bizarre. All right, I mean, it looks like moss. That's kind of mossy. I feel like I need to taste test it, but like, I'm kind of scared too, I'm not gonna lie. And I don't think it's necessarily meant to be like super tasty. It's just supposed to be edible moss. So yeah, I mean, look, that turned out pretty cool. I think I would definitely use that on a cake, but I think we should taste test it. Just, if you're gonna put it on a cake, you should know how it tastes. Ah, it's super sticky. Okay. You've been warned. It is super duper sticky. I guess that's why they were wearing the gloves. So, all right, I'll just take a little piece off here. All right, wish me luck. It doesn't have a lot of flavor. Yeah, it's very like light and airy, doesn't have a whole lot of texture. Yeah, I would totally put this on a cake. All right, I'm excited about this. I feel like this will be really cute to use. Yeah, super excited, yeah. is time to taste test the lemon posset. I am pretty excited. That is really good. It's really good, especially, obviously you have to like lemony things, but it's very refreshing. It's light. It doesn't feel like, even though it's heavy cream, so it's like creamy and like satisfying, it doesn't feel like super heavy. And it's nice that it's just like kind of like smaller. Although I think these lemons are a little bit too big maybe. The recipe said it was for 6 servings, but I only got 4 out of this, and some of them weren't even like quite filled up all the way. So I feel like for this recipe, just as a note, I would go with smaller lemons. If you can find smaller lemons, that's probably better. But it's nice because it's kind of just like a single serving size, and yeah, I would totally make this again. Okay, I am really excited for the strawberry shortcake, even though it definitely, I still have some questions, but we're gonna put that aside for now, and we're gonna taste test. It's good. So it's a very like spongy, like angel cake type of thing, I would say. Like the cake itself is not super flavorful, which I feel like that's pretty common with like strawberry shortcake. And the whipped cream also is like pretty plain. So I would say that this is definitely good. I would not be opposed to making it again. Although I feel like maybe I would add like a little bit more vanilla, or I don't know, it just feels like it needs like a little extra flavor. The strawberries are obviously great, but I do feel like the cake itself is just a little bit bland. Now, me saying that, I will eat this entire thing and I will probably have another slice or two. So I'm really just being nitpicky for the sake of being nitpicky. But I guess I'm also saying if you have a favorite strawberry shortcake recipe, I don't know if this one's like worth trying instead, but it is still a good cake. And I also think that like if I were to make this again, I would want it to be a little bit taller and like more like the actual video shows. So I would probably just double the cake recipe and make 2 like regular size layers, like 2 pans, because it definitely feels like a little bit small. Although I will say this is kind of a nice size if you don't have like a massive family, or, you know, anywhere super important to take it. It's kind of a nice, like, not individual size, but we won't have too much leftovers or anything like that. So it is kind of a nice size to have it be small. But I think making this has made me realize though that I actually personally prefer a little bit more of the biscuit style strawberry shortcake, because I love like that biscuity flavor. But I think I do kind of prefer that flavor over this, like, just like I said, it's just like, it's very simple and it's not super flavorful, but it is very good. This was super fun trying out different TikTok recipes. Let me know if you have found any really good like viral recipes that have actually like lived up to the hype. But that is it for today. Thank you so much for baking with me, and I hope you are having a lovely day, and I'll see you next time.